sunny day in August 2005, a plane took off from Cyprus bound for Prague, with a stopover in Athens. At first glance, it was a routine flight, but what happened in the air defied all logic. What really happened on board Helios Flight 522? This is the story of the ghost plane that left an indelible mark on commercial aviation. Flight 522 of Helios Airways, a Cypriot low-cost airline, was scheduled to route from Larnaca, Cyprus, to Prague, Czech Republic, with a stop in Athens. The aircraft was a Boeing 737-31S, a reliable aircraft capable of carrying up to 189 passengers. On board were 115 passengers and 6 crew members, including families planning vacations, businessmen, and an experienced crew led by Captain Hans-Jürgen Merten, a German pilot with over 30 years of experience. His co-pilot, the Cypriot Panagiotis Prodromou, also had an impeccable record. The plane took off at 9:07 a.m. local time from Larnaca International Airport, but what seemed like an ordinary flight soon turned into a tragic and bewildering event. Minutes after takeoff, the crew noticed a problem in the cabin. The pressurization system alarm began to sound. This system is crucial for maintaining adequate oxygen levels as the plane ascends to altitudes where the air is thinner. Before continuing with this fascinating story, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. This helps us continue creating interesting content for you. The captain and the co-pilot began checking the systems, but a crucial mistake occurred. They confused the pressurization alarm with a cooling system problem. They did not realize that the plane was losing pressure rapidly, which meant that the oxygen levels in the cabin were dangerously dropping. The crew, just like the passengers, began to experience symptoms of hypoxia, a condition caused by the lack of oxygen. The first few minutes, hypoxia can cause confusion, loss of coordination, and drowsiness. If not treated quickly, it can lead to unconsciousness and, eventually, death. As the plane ascended to 34,000 feet, everything fell into an unsettling silence. The aircraft continued flying with the autopilot activated, but both the passengers and the crew were unconscious due to the lack of oxygen. From the ground, air traffic controllers repeatedly tried to establish communication with Flight 522, but there was no response. The alarm was triggered when the plane did not perform its scheduled maneuver to begin the descent towards Athens. The controllers declared an emergency and informed the Greek authorities. The Hellenic Air Force deployed 2 F-16 aircraft to intercept the Boeing 737 and assess the situation. When the F-16 pilots approached the aircraft, what they saw left them frozen. The passengers were motionless, many with oxygen masks hanging. In the cockpit, one of the pilots observed the co-pilot slumped over the controls and the captain's seat empty. Despite the tragic scene, there was a ray of hope. Andreas Prodromou, a crew member and certified pilot, was on board as a flight attendant. Andreas managed to stay conscious for longer by using a portable oxygen bottle. In an act of heroism, he tried to enter the cockpit to regain control of the plane. The F-16 pilots watched as Andreas desperately tried to handle the situation. According to reports, he even managed to send a manual signal to the fighter jets. However, their efforts were in vain. The plane had already exhausted almost all its fuel. At 12:04 p.m., after more than 3 hours in the air, Flight 522 ran out of fuel and began its final descent. The aircraft crashed in a mountainous area near Gramatiko, north of Athens. There were no survivors. The impact was so devastating that the rescue operations took hours to recover the remains and confirm the identity of the passengers. The families of the victims were devastated, while media outlets around the world covered the tragedy with great attention. The Hellenic Civil Aviation Authority, along with international experts, conducted a thorough investigation. The final report concluded that the accident was caused by human error. The crew did not verify that the pressurization system was in automatic mode before takeoff. This small oversight had catastrophic consequences. Additionally, the lack of specific training to identify and respond to hypoxia situations was highlighted, which further exacerbated the tragedy. The case of Helios 522 became a turning point for the aviation industry. Airlines around the world implemented stricter protocols to verify pressurization systems and improve crew training. Moreover, the tragedy highlighted the importance of automated safety systems, such as specific alarms that differentiate pressurization issues from other mechanical failures. Flight 522 of Helios Airways not only left a void in the lives of the affected families, but also became a story that shocked the world. It is a reminder that, even in the modern era, human errors can have devastating consequences.